Yeah, yeah. Yes,
Yes.
yes. I am. Okay, I'm joining in from laptop now, so I'm going to off this one then.
Okay.
Yes. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, where am I?
Your phone camera better than your laptop camera.
Two ghosts. Celeste is so cute.
Yeah. Okay, we are ready. Okay. So today we've got so many things to cover. So many things to cover. Uh, so we have a few process that we want to do. We can do the group one, and then after that we can do uh the other one, the group one, and then the other portion. Okay, so let's take a look first at the group session, so we can kind of get some pointers to kind of move back. Okay, let me show you guys here. Okay. Oops.
Oh, for yesterday.
This is the yesterday one, right? Okay, so let's see this way. Okay, the audio may not be so loud, but your computer can. Okay.
Yes.
So let's ask let's before we look at this, let's take a look at let's ask Joanne, what are your how do you feel about this session?
I honestly find that I will be better prepared if I know the information a little bit earlier.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe because I come from a training background, so a lot of things I usually prefer to prepare probably one day in advance. I mean, if not possible, at least a one day. So if I were to, I do know the topic which you have actually text me, but I didn't know about the video. So if I were to be able to watch the video before I go into this session, it will better prep me, especially when I do know, let's say, you will prefer them to actually write a review under YouTube. Then I realized this group, a lot of them, they are not able to go into their YouTube and put a comment. So from their facial expression, they actually indicated that they will do it later. So I couldn't insist. Uh, and on the comment box, just only very brief. So it was slightly better when we start to interact.
Hmm.
Yeah, so this is what I mean by I usually will go through some thought process before an assignment, and and if I were to know earlier, I find that I will be able to manage better.
Hmm.
I'm not very happy with the way the group mentoring is done.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay, that's good. That's good. So the videos are only produced on the day itself. So that's why you only got it when I send out.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. So
understand.
that's the earliest time that I managed to get it out. So you only got it then. Yeah. So we tend to work for, I mean, if we have enough, of course, if we have enough time, we're probably giving you like weeks in advance. But usually when we get some kind of like inputs, we tend to give out like maybe a few hours before, or sometimes even 1 hour before, kind of thing. Where
But don't
possible.
need weeks in advance lah. Just probably like in the night, give in the late morning. That kind. I'm
Oh, yeah. Usually we see whether we can do that, where possible. Yeah, but sometimes, by the time we produce the or edit the stuff, the only time that we can get it out is like on the day itself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So Hazel did mention that I wasn't ready for delivery mode because I didn't have the time to actually digest, was on the spot, and I see the video together with them. I would prefer to see the video first before I actually do the group mentoring with them.
Mm. Actually, eh, do you saw the one in the Telegram?
One in the Telegram.
Yeah, because Telegram was when I sent out in about 2 p.m. But maybe it's also.
I was having class.
That was a class. Yeah, yeah. Okay, no problem. Actually, there's a few ways to go about this. One, for trainers or for mentors as well. Sometimes, we have like we may have last minute injects and stuff like this, and then we have to kind of manage the state of that situation, where we can sometimes we may have some uh, last minute changes to where to the situation and stuff. So we try our best not to do that, but yeah. So sometimes no choice. This one, yeah. So for this one as well, so, sometimes we don't have enough lead time for all that uh, extra time to prep. But what can happen is that, let's say for group mentoring as well, if you're doing by yourself, you could also think like okay, say for example, I don't have time to go through it all. I could always watch it with them and say, hey, okay, come, let's watch together. Let's just digest a little bit together and see, and let's pause and let's rewatch them together and see, how do we move from here? How do we, go from here? And how do we kind of digest and dissect and have discussion first before moving forward? Yeah. So that your state also is not affected by whether is it the first time you're watching together with them or not. So usually, even if, let's say, I'm totally brand new to the subject or totally not familiar with the subject, I would just look at everyone and assume that I already kind of know, and so that I just maintain my state regardless of what's happening there. Yeah. So that will be important element, so that we can still maintain that engagement with them. So that's actually, this is one good way to kind of practice. Let's say, for example, the state management for preparation of the session. So of course, let's say, for example, when we look at towards the end of June, which is the last week of June, when you have another chance for group mentoring, could we have prepared some of these things ahead? Now, usually for group mentoring, we don't have so many things. Usually it's just they break out and then you start discussing your individual respective things. Yeah. So just that we want to give them a little bit more even after the session. So so this is a little bit more outside of the box than usual. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
But it was a good session because I also learned that I have to be very precise with the instruction of them going round to mentor the client. That it was the client was Hazel. So we are talking about the SMART, and everyone knows.
Mm.
But because Victor joined later, so I didn't want to interrupt the midst of our coaching process. So when he actually input and joined in for the coaching, he wasn't very aligned. So I need to stop him to actually get him back on track, so that everybody know what is going on. Because
Mm.
he move away from the intention, that I mean the video content.
Mm. Yeah. So you mean like Ray, right? Ray came in later.
Yeah, correct. So,
Yeah.
it's nothing wrong. It's just that if we sharing his talk, but because we have to be quite focused, because we are talking about the video learning, and they are practicing to coach Hazel, so to make sure that everybody is achieving the SMART goals. So I need to hit like halfway to make sure that we are when uh Victor digress. So that's something a learning for me, that to make sure that everybody are aligned when we have late people who join us, people
Okay.
who join late. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a good. Oh, Victor came late. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes people may come late and in and out
Yeah.
um from the session, right? Actually, I like this session a lot, because this session give us a lot of opportunities and rooms to kind of explore how do we handle people who come late. How do we handle people who come early? How do we handle people who, let's say people come early already, and then there's one person's late. Do I have to repeat everything just for the one person? Yeah.
Uh, okay. I think it was not that difficult for me. Like, it's just to make sure to just a one two sentence to highlight to Victor that we are on this, and the question that we are asked is around SMART goals, and he was okay very quick to
Mm.
get on track. Yeah, just it was not difficult.
Okay, yeah. And sometimes it might be the case where, let's say, you're already in the middle of the coaching conversation, or maybe in the mentoring process, and you might be explaining a concept that, might take a while to explain, but you're halfway through, and maybe you have a new person that just come in, right?
Mm.
So sometimes if, let's say, there's some people like this, the way I'll handle them is that I'll just go on explaining everything, and then I'll ask the person, okay, you can rewatch whatever happened before, and you can catch up then later. Yeah, so that I don't discount the people who have come early, and then after that, for those people who come late, to to interrupt the process. So usually people come late, right? I let them just be observers. They don't comment anything, right? Because you are late, so you observe first, and that's okay for the group mentoring. So group mentoring, the not everyone needs to be full on participating. And yeah, so depends on the trainer itself, or depends on the mentor coach itself. So sometimes some mentor coach can handle people come in late and they kind of like weave people in. Now sometimes mentor coach want to be a little bit more stricter. You can also, you could just, hey, okay, so for welcome into the session. Okay, so for now I just want you to observe the whole process first, and then we circle back to you later, right? So then just continue the conversation. Yeah, so that's something that you can handle for those people come late in terms of the group management.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so very good, very good. So let's take a look at a few portions here, and then after that, see how can we take this and enhance it further, and also integrate with one of the key components that we talk about today. So we will use the same competency that we talked about yesterday, right? Competency number 8, and then we will try to find evidence and some specific evidence for it, and some areas of strength. So what we're going to try to do, right, is this. Before we go here, we're going to look for evidence of whether the clients and the mentor coach were picking up with competency number 8, and it's specific to the particular slicer. So sometimes in the mentoring process, right, individual mentoring can cover everything, but sometimes in the group mentoring, if you want to kind of narrow down, you could kind of narrow down to just one specific area of the competency, because you only have 2 hours, and you probably cannot cover every single thing, right? But if you want to kind of revisit some of the key components, would be those. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
Okay, great. Let's move on to the next one, measurable. We still can write on this topic about changing a job, right? Measurable. Yeah. So in terms of the action, what would be a measurement, right?
Yeah, I guess here you could ask the client, is there a time frame to it, or is there a specific job type to it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure if that would be helpful, because I think from what the topic Santosh mentioned about changing a job, and based on our comment in terms of specific, maybe Santosh can share with us that to answer our question in terms of what's the objective of you changing a job. Then maybe we'll take it in natural flow from there. Would that sound better? Like, Santosh, you mentioned about you wanted to change a job. So why are you looking to change a job right now? Or, what's the objective of changing a job?
Would that be a measurable, or would that be about relevance?
I'm referring to relevance, because that I think with your response, it will be easier for us to reply with the measurable outcome. Because right now it's just vague in the sense that.
Oh, you're asking me to respond?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I would like to change my job in the next 3 months. So
Okay, so that was just a quick 1 minute segment of this part. This is where Joanne wanted to get them to go dive into deeper in the M, which is the measurable part, with Santosh being the one to kind of practice. So what are we observing here?
It's obviously a difference of opinion, and also understanding perspective is also different. So the presentation thought definitely is different.
Okay, so for you, what was your what you had in mind for them, for Santosh to present?
Because Santosh is a client. So what I actually meant was we continue to write on the idea, which is the coaching agreement. I'm looking for a job in 3 months' time. I would like to look for a job in 3 months' time. And what and these are the coaches. So we will coach around the goals to achieve. I mean the SMART goals. So the first one we are talking about specific, what kind of job are you talking about? Changing industry, changing role. So being specific, and then after that we talk about measurement. What will be the measurement of success? So maybe I can give more example, but I was just thinking that it would be good for them to just explore, the whole idea of measurement. But because they have different opinion, and I would say that is where they need the space to explain. I don't feel that I should insist one direction.
Yeah, actually that's good. To keep the space open like this, let them come and explore. One thing that the mentor coach could do, it's either just to remain outside of the picture, let them kind of share in, right? So now, and then I kind of sense, let's say for the next 2-3 minutes, all I hear is only Ray, but whereas actually I wanted everyone to kind of chip in, then I kind of like have a thought in mind. Okay, how do I then? When do I step in? When would be a good time for me to step in? And at which stage, if I want them to focus on measurable, to what extent do I kind of guide them, or do I not guide them too much, right? So that there's still the space to explore, but not too much that I just only get you to focus on one area, right? Then it defeats the purpose of the exercise, for them to become aware of that. So one of the things that let's move a little bit ahead, like in 1 minute time, and let's see what happened.
Drill deeper, it would be, are you looking for a specific kind of a team, specific kind of a culture, specific.
Sure.
Time bound to be specific. You have to be.
If there were many.
Well, what you have not said actually. Is it
Okay.
All of a sudden?
For about 7 minutes or so, from minute number 6 to about minute number 17, so about 6 to 9 minutes, about there, the exploration was supposed to be around specific measurables or SMART goals. So one of the ways, right, and now by now you have a lot of different people giving inputs, and this person is talking about this, that person is talking about this, and then the recency of that discussion is kind of spread out across everyone, because everyone is like, hey, okay, this time we talk about specific and everything. So one of the things that can happen, right, in the group mentoring, I could kind of segmentize it. So let's say, for example, we can say, okay, hey guys, okay, so Santosh will be the client. Let's spend the first 5 minutes. I want everyone to get a chance to kind of narrow down the specifics, okay, so that you can kind of like frame the session for them. To say, hey, okay, we will only spend about 3 minutes or 5 minutes, to have discussion around specific before we go to the next letter, so that you prevent people from like, jumping back and forth, and then maybe Santosh already explained specific. Now, how come now you're still asking me what the same question that, let's say, Eva asked me earlier, or hey, I thought that's not Ray asked me the same question, right? Not Victor asking me the same question that's not that person was asking. Yeah. So sometimes what can happen is this, right? For designing of actions, let's say I want to kind of break it down for the mentor, for the mentees, and if they're only ACC level, I may do baby steps with them. I said, okay, guys, we have let's break down this SMART. Okay, let's do the first S first. Let's have a topic, okay, and then let's do the first S. Then we go to the M. Then we go to, okay. So, but we're only going to spend 3 minutes in S. If I hear that the S is sufficient, then we move on. Okay, so let's spend 5 minutes. Once 5 minutes up, I'm gonna come inside. So I kind of frame the session for them. So it can go in any style. I can do 3 minutes, I can do 5 minutes, I can do whichever style. So that's the flexibility for the mentor coach to kind of play with. But it gives the frame that we talked about earlier in the last few sessions, so that people know that, okay, the mentor coach will jump in. Maximum that we have in terms of everyone's discussion is only 5 minutes, right, to jump in to kind of stop that. Okay, so what I'm going to get all of us to kind of do is to give you an example. Okay, so maybe we do two things. One, I'm going to give an example. Another one is I'm going to let Joanne to try this out, and using the same thing that she's done there, but using the SMART again. Okay, so we just do a 5 minute segment of the SMART before going to the M. Okay, so you can have flexibility to kind of play around with. Let's say the topic is who want to be the client here today? Nobody. Okay, I'm the client. I'm the client. Okay, so I'm the client. So now Joanne has all the coaches here. So Hazel, Celeste, B, Hiders, the coaches, and then Joanne is the mentor coach. Okay, so we're going to tombalik what happened last night, and we're going to try that out. And Joanne is trying to teach these coaches here how to use the SMART process. Okay, so now Joanne, you have flexibility to kind of play around in the 5 minutes. How would you like them to kind of navigate that? Okay, in this 5 minutes, and then let's say the topic is how to decide where I want to travel to for a holiday. Okay.
Are you sure you want to explore this topic now?
Oh yes, yes, yes. Of course, that's why that's why this topic is so exciting now. We got a lot.
Airport not open yet.
We can always take the business
Just
trip.
teasing you.
Okay, so what you want to do at the start, right? You kind of frame everybody that we're gonna do this exercise activity for the SMRT, and then you can kind of play with it, but we're just gonna limit it to 5 minutes of this exploration.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I think for the SMART goals, I would I just want to explore two given that time. Basically to the specific outcome that the client wants to achieve. At the end of this topic, which is the traveling, and also how will he measure the success of the coaching session? Who is going to be the coach? Jada, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you the coach?
No, I'm the client.
He's Jada is a client. Okay, so let me try a few minutes. Okay, since I'm here, might as well. Okay, okay, ready, Jada?
Anytime.
Okay. Hi, Jada.
Hi.
Nice to meet you here again. So we have very precious time. So let's get to the what do you want? I just heard that you say you want to talk about traveling for holiday. Would you like to explain a little bit more for me to understand?
Oh, I did travel. I never say travel for holiday.
Did I? No, you said travel for holiday. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just want to talk about travel. Okay. So what do we mean by this?
What I mean by this, I mean like to travel out of my house because I'm kind of
Ah,
for so long.
okay. Travel out of your house. So why what is your thought behind this idea of traveling out from your house?
Idea. The
Yeah.
idea is that I don't want to stay at home too long, if possible.
You don't want to stay at home too long. Okay. So what are you looking for when you're out? Out from your house.
What am I looking for? I'm looking for a different environment.
I see you have a smile, so may I just understand what is this smile about?
I just love to smile a lot.
That's good. Yeah, like me. So would you like to share a little bit further so that I can understand what is on your mind about this topic that you want to explore?
What is on my mind? I just want to find a way, where I want to travel to.
Okay, travel to get out of the house. It's just what you said just now.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
travel.
So do you have any ideas where you want to travel to? Which part of Singapore?
I don't know whether am I limited just to Singapore or not, because I can travel anywhere.
You can you want to travel. So, but what is the purpose of traveling out?
Oh, that's why I mentioned to change environment.
Change of environment. Okay, would you like to describe the environment? How would the environment be different if you go out?
How would the environment different?
Uh,
Well, it would not be the same four walls that I see,
uh,
and then there is fresh air, not the artificial air that I'm smelling every day.
mm-hmm.
The on, yeah.
So let's say you really get out of the house and you get a different environment, having fresh air, not the same smell. How would you feel then?
Uh, I'm not too sure how I feel, but because even if I go out, I cannot smell the fresh air because not everybody have to wear masks, so cannot smell the fresh air.
So actually, you're just. I mean, I am. Just let me. I'm a little unclear. Okay, so pardon me for this. I just want to be hearing accurately what you really want out of this conversation about traveling out of your house.
What do I want? I want to find a way or find where I want to go, travel to.
You want to find a way, and you want to find a place that you can travel to. So which one, a way or the place to go?
Not too sure. Just want to know where I can go travel.
Okay, yeah, it's well, it's you're not sure, right? So what directions would you like to explore, so that at the end of this sessions you can find your way and also you can go to your destination.
What directions? I don't know what directions. That will be good.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So I allow me to share some of my observations of what I heard. Okay. So regarding travel, okay, regarding this idea of getting out of the house, but you sounds that you don't really have a very clear where you want to go, how you want to go. So what I actually what what do you really want to get out of this conversation? I mean, knowing that you do not know. So how to get from do not know to knowing where you want to go and the way to do it.
I also don't know. That's why I come to the coach.
Okay. Okay. I also don't know. So how?
Okay, maybe we will pause here for a while. Peter is a very difficult person to coach because um everything is don't know, and it has to go beyond a lot of questioning, layers of questioning to find out what is behind the thought, and also share the sensing. How do you feel coaching on this topic?
Me?
Yeah,
I
especially in the
I guess I mean this is not unusual lah. People people who actually know a lot about themselves, actually when they really want to do something they don't know. I mean when they know so much really they don't know what they don't know. They just ideas are just ideas. So there's no, I mean I sometimes I in this state also it seems like I also know a lot, but I just want to do something. I just want to, but I don't know what I want to do. Something like that. No? So this one is a little for me it's a little challenging. Okay. Um so I will be, for me my choice now is that okay, you don't know, right? So I also don't know. So I want to wait. I mean I will just let it be how you want to. Really I give you the choice. What do you want to do about this now? Yeah. The final one is that okay, now that you say that you do not know, I also say I do not know. So how do you want us to proceed? I will just say.
Yes, so we actually talk about we want to achieve the specific and measurable. So the coaching agreement wasn't very specific because in the beginning there was an assumption made that you want to travel. So in fact, I also make the assumption that I thought he is traveling out of the country, but actually he says that he just wants to get out of the house. Yeah, so he just want to get out of the house to see his world. That is his travel. So that is something that I think it gives an opportunity for us to actually go a little bit deeper into achieving this aspect of specific. It'll help me to understand, what makes you want to go out of the house. So you probably can listen a little bit more. Am I getting it correctly? Did
Okay.
I?
So let's do a pause here. Okay, now I step out of myself as the client as the let's Samula. Okay. Samula. Okay. Now remember that the competency we wanted to work on was CC8, right? Not CC3. So CC8 means that at this stage the client agreement already done already. Whatever agreement should have already been done. Now we're kind of getting the actioning done, right? So what is one of the actions that I'm going to do? So for example, so now the mentor coach will kind of frame the session, say, okay guys, we're going to look at competency number 8. So we would spend 5 minutes to explore this one area. So I give you an example. Okay, let's say I use Celeste. Okay, so Celeste, I volunteer her. She will be the client. Okay, I volunteer her as the client. Same topic. We talk about where she wants to travel. Okay, so now I need to set the context because I'm skipping the first 25 minutes of the conversation, diving in all the way to this part of the designing actions and goal setting. So how I frame is like this: to say, okay, class. So hey everyone, welcome to your ACC group mentoring. Now, for today's practice, we're going to spend 5 minutes just to look at the first letter or first two letters as specific and measurable in the designing of actions for the client. We will assume that the client has already done the front part, the coaching agreement, everything settled, call team ready. And now we're at this stage of helping the client to be specific about the action step they're going to take forward. So Celeste over here is going to think about a travel plan. She says she wants to travel. She's decided she wants to travel. Now she wants to come and figure out to narrow down where specifically she wants to travel. She's agreed to travel. Now she wants to know specifically where to travel and how would she measure the success of the travel, right? So that is the action step she's going to take. So we're going to open the floor here for every coach here. So all of you will get a chance to practice, to refine this craft. So we're not going to limit to one person. I'm going to allow everyone to kind of pop in. Hazel can pop in, Ida can pop in, B can pop in, Joanne can pop in, anyone can pop in. And I'm going to hear first for the first S. Okay, so for the first 2-3 minutes, I want to hear for the first S, which is specific, because right now the client says that I want to travel. It's very, very broad. So I want you guys to try to ask her questions to kind of narrow down. Once the first S is up, I'll give a thumbs up. Then we'll go to the M, which is how can she measure that she has successfully, do the travels that she wants to do. Okay, so we do this in 2 parts. The first S, once the first S I hear sufficient S enough, I give a thumbs up. Then we go to the next M. Okay, so now I will step in. I will step in if and I will unmute myself. I will step in and unmute myself if I see the conversation going in a different direction. Okay, if not, I'll give you guys the 5 minutes to explore with her. Okay, so that's an example how I can frame the session, so that the coach don't go back to the start of the coaching agreement. Yeah, so that's how I play with B is because I wanted to see whether Joanne, you step in to kind of stop B from doing the coaching agreement, right? Because since we're looking at competency number 8 only, so the coaching agreement doesn't really matter so much because we want to kind of practice to refine that specific areas, right? The SMART goal for where the client wants to, the goals of the client, where the client wants to go. Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to give an example? Or you want to try?
When your team silent means what? They okay or they not okay?
Sorry?
When silence means what? Okay or not okay?
When clients?
Yeah. No, when the rest of them silent means okay or not okay?
When the rest of them are clients means okay.
No, silence. If they are silence, is it okay or not okay?
In what context? You mean as to practice?
Yeah, because you mentioned, do you want to give me an example? Do you want me to give an example or do you want to carry on or go ahead? So there was silence. So I'm just curious, their silence is okay or not okay? So there was an unspoken message.
I'm just waiting, lor. I'm just waiting to see
I'm
whether.
asking.
Okay, so for Joanne, do you want to try? You want to try it first, or you want me to give an example?
Yeah, do an example, definitely.
Okay, so let me do an example. So let's use someone here. Let's use Celeste lah. Okay, who wants to be the client?
Or maybe I can be the client then.
I can be the client.
Okay, so I'm going to give two examples. I'm going to give you two examples in the same 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do two parts. I'm going to spend just 2 minutes, 3 minutes just to do this part here, and I do two different examples. One example is I get everybody to ask a question. The second example is just one person answer. Okay, so in the mentor coaching session, because you have 10 up to 10 people, so you can have everybody asking, or you can have just one person asking. Yeah. So if you are silent, means you're multitasking. So miss the question. Okay. Okay. So Salah says everything want to go. Okay. So I'm gonna tombalik. I'm gonna not tombalik. I'm gonna samula. Okay. And going to moichito and repeat myself. Okay. So now, assuming now I'm starting the mentor coaching. So I'm going to simulate. Okay, so hey everyone, welcome back to our Mentor Coaching Success. So glad you can join us. Now, today we're going to focus on competency number 8, right? And earlier, just now we talk about, or you watched the video and talk about the SMART goal at the ACC level. You remember your mastering coaching class? You covered SMART. It's a foundational part. Okay, we're going to do it a little bit systematic first. So we're going to kind of practice this together. Now, our first focus, we're just going to do one thing first. Let's just focus on the S, getting specific goal, right, that the client wants to go. So in this situation, Celeste has volunteered herself to be the client, and the topic that she has chosen is about a travel. She wants to travel to somewhere. So we will assume as a class here that we have already gotten the coaching agreement done, everything done, exploration done. We found out who she was, everything settled. Now we have the last 10 minutes to kind of like really refine the goals where she wants to go to, okay, in terms of the travel plans. So we're going to spend 5 minutes together, okay, and try to refine the specifics. Okay, so we're going to start with SMART. So maybe I'm going to give us 3 minutes, right, just to look at the first S. Then we go to M, then we go A, then we go R and T. So in this order. So first off, we're going to do with the first S. Now in this round, I'm going to allow everyone here to unmute yourself and ask her questions. Okay, ask her questions to help her refine specifically where she wants to go in the travel for one option. Okay, just for the first 3 minutes, and all of you can unmute yourself and ask her questions, and I'll give you the space for 3 minutes. I will not interrupt you, allow you to focus, but all of you just going to focus one thing, to be specific, help her to become specific in where she wants to go. She wants to go somewhere, but you want to help her refine where she wants to go. Yeah, that's a specific. Once you have achieved that as a group, if you finish before 3 minutes, I will come in, right? If after 3 minutes you still cannot get anywhere, I will also come in. Okay, clear? Anyone needs any clarification before we begin? No? All good? Okay. So I'm going to time the timing here, and my clock is 3:43 p.m. and we will stop at 3:44 now. We're going to stop at 3:47. Okay, I'll unmute myself to come inside. So whenever ready, I will allow Celeste to unmute herself, and all of you can unmute, and I'll mute myself. Here we go.
Okay, Celeste, where do you want to travel to?
I want to travel to a place where I can feel peace and it's like my own sanctuary.
Celeste, tell me more about this sanctuary that you are looking at.
So this is like a place or maybe a space where there's no interruption from external sources. Like it's just me, and that's where I can consolidate all my thoughts and everything. It's like a safe haven.
So as you described, Celeste, as you described, a safe haven for you with no interruption so that you can be with yourself. Anything come to your mind where this place could be?
Not really a specific place. Yeah.
Okay, not a place, but a space. Just now I heard you say space. Would you like to elaborate more?
So I think it's more like it's like where all elements have to align, and somehow or another it can be anywhere, but just somehow or another I feel like I'm in that space. Yeah.
So what would you want to achieve at the end of this coaching session in regards to this space that you're exploring?
So I think it's more like to be able to get like to identify what elements I need for me to really feel that I'm inside there, like what is missing or what do I not need.
Okay, so if we are hearing you correctly, you're saying that there's no specific place that you actually want to travel to, but rather by the end of this session, you want to identify what elements you need to feel like you're in this space. Is that correct? Okay.
So what are the elements now? Sorry, Haida, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, what Hazel is asking. How? Okay. What elements would you need?
I don't know. I think the elements is like maybe it's more like I don't know. I think the stars have to align for me to find the elements.
Okay, so let me jump in here. So 3 minutes is up. You've gotten a chance to allow the client to try to do specific. So let's ask the class here. Were we able to keep to the specifics in terms of the first S to help the client to set the goals?
Yes, I think we are very on track.
Okay. What about the rest? Do you feel? Yes, B.
I mean, based on information that she has given, she has actually give some descriptive also, and well, but it's not tangible. It's abstract. So probably is when abstract is actually like you know and you do not know. It's just like she's actually in the state of she knows something, and yet but that one cannot be sort of expressed and in a tangible form. That's how I feel. So to get her to be specific and name a space or name something, I think for me I think it's not easy lah, because if the client likes to say I don't know, I don't know, I actually do not know how to cancel off the I don't know.
Would you like me to show you a demonstration of how I would do it with her?
Yeah, of course.
So now, one thing that we saw just now that you were trying to do to kind of narrow down was that for a lot of the questions was still circling back towards what's the outcome of the session, rather than just assuming the outcome is really settled and just jumping in straight into the goals where she really want to go. Yeah, so that's why a lot of time was spent trying to clarify the outcomes. Now, so what I'm going to do here with her, I'm going to show you how we will assume that the outcomes are already settled. She already agreed that she wants to go wherever she wants. Now we're going to be try to get a specific goal, where she wants to travel to, a specific goal of where she wants to travel to. Okay, so and I'm just going to stick with the first S of the SMART to help the client narrow down where she wants to go. Okay, Celeste, can you are you with us? Yeah, okay, so very good. Now, so early on, we just explored a lot about the, what does travel mean to you? And right now we are at the stage of wanting to identify the goals so that you can move toward your travel plans. So tell me specifically, how would you narrow down that goal, that one goal that you have?
How will I narrow down? What is it that I can do to feel like I'm in the sanctuary whenever I need to be?
What is it that you can do to feel that you're in the sanctuary whenever you are?
Whenever I want to be.
Okay, to be in the sanctuary wherever you want to be.
Whenever.
whenever you
Yeah.
want. Okay, so good. Let me see if I got that right. Want to be. Okay, so you want to do to be in the sanctuary whenever you want to be.
Mm.
Okay. And what specifically do you mean by whenever? Is it a time frame that you're looking at, or is it a period of time, especially so that you want to get in?
Yeah, so it's like especially when I feel very overwhelmed, I want to just step into this sanctuary and just feel like everything is okay.
Okay, what you can do to be in this sanctuary, especially when you feel overwhelmed.
Mm.
Okay, when you feel overwhelmed. Okay. Okay. Are there any other times you would like to be in this sanctuary, or this specifically just only when you're feeling overwhelmed?
Maybe it's more like when I feel like there's a heighten of emotion. So most of the time it's like feeling overwhelmed, angsty, yeah, this emotional. So that's where I want to just be there and just that it also gives me this sense of feeling safe to be myself lah. Yeah.
Okay, so it gives to enter in the sanctuary, makes you feel safe.
Mm.
Okay, and when you mention what you can do to be in the sanctuary, tell me specifically what you mean by what you can do to be in the sanctuary. What is it that you like to do?
Like what is that thing that can remind me about it where instantly I can just like in a snap of finger I feel like I'm in my sanctuary. Yeah, because I feel like this is a feeling. It's not a place or anything. It's a space where I like as I'm describing I can already imagine it. Just that I need to remind myself about it and not let myself get drift away.
Okay. Good. So let me see if I got this right. Right. So one of your goals that you want to get out of today, it's specifically what you can do, something that can remind yourself at a snap of a finger, and a space that you can remind yourself that you can be in the sanctuary, and especially when you feel overwhelmed, in context like where you may get emotional, angsty, because it gives you a sense of safety.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's pause here. Okay, so there's an example of how we just dive in straight to the goals, and then we narrow down just the specifics. Okay, so let's open the floor now for observations and your thoughts of what I've just done here.
So there is a commonality based on what you have typed. It's all about the space. So it's like going deeper into the meaning of what she meant on the space. But actually, towards the end, it is not a place. It's actually a space that she needs for herself whenever the emotion is running a little bit too much for her, overwhelmed, like what she mentioned. She just need to have that space to feel safe and secure. Yeah, because if let's say if we were not to dive in that manner, we will be thinking what kind of sanctuary is like. What country is that is has that kind of sanctuary. Yeah, so we will be going into the tangible country. But when we actually ask a little bit more, you will realize that it is not even a country that she's talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so really nice. So remember earlier we talked about wanting to go to specifics, right? So in the goal setting process, when you do SMART, we have options here. So the client, so let's take a look at the options the client gave us. Firstly, the client says what you can do to be in the sanctuary whenever you want to be. Okay, so quite a lot of items there, right? So we hear, wow, so many things. So therefore, I took a little bit of time to kind of pause to make sure I capture the words that the client say, right? So you can do it as well as a coach to pause there and to do that, okay? Then I can choose whichever one I want to dive in deeper. What you can do, the sanctuary, whenever, or you want to be. Is there anything right and wrong to exploring any one of them? No, you can choose anyone. Now, for me, my usual sense in terms of going specifics is whenever I hear time, like then I want to kind of go into a little more specifics in terms when the client talk a little bit about the time matters. For example, the word whenever, because whenever it's like so huge, you know, whenever is it whenever, or is there something specific, right? So that's when I now as a coach, now I can decide, okay, I can choose anywhere. I can dive in first to do, I can dive first to, but what I'm sensing is more of the whenever. So I'm just using my intuition and just go with whenever. Nothing wrong with choosing any options. You have the choice. So in this case, I just choose to go and explore whenever first, get a little more specific on whenever. Then after that, I went into specific about what she can do. And then after that, going to the rest. Okay, so that's one example here. So when you have a client who has when you want to narrow down the first S to get a little more specific, you can kind of choose wherever you want to go, but don't try to go specific in all areas. You do step by step, right? So here I explore whenever first, then I go and explore the do, then I explore the sense of the century that she is in these few parts. Okay, so let's pause that. Okay, so this is an example of how you can do a little mentoring here. In that short sequence of things that will be done here. Okay, good. Okay, so now the mentor coach will come in and then kind of like guide the process, and also because if not, the conversation will go in all directions. You know, if you go back to the coaching agreement again, and then kind of, so especially when you do with, let's say, a competency that is not the coaching agreement competency, let's say competency number 8, right? The tendency is like what just happened is that we may tend to go back to the coaching agreement. So therefore, the mentor coach, you can do a few things. One is to just let everybody assume that coaching agreement done, assume that everything done. Now we're at this stage here, we're going to decide where you want to go. Right, so you can do that so that you kind of narrow in terms of how people can focus on the particular area to work on. Okay, good. So, Joanne, would you like to try? Now we will continue from the same conversation. Celeste will be the client, all of us will be the coach, and you continue with the M. Okay, so we've done the S already. So you can try taking the conversation forward and try with the M or A or RT. So we can let Joanne come and try.
Also, this is only me coaching Celeste.
You are the mentor.
I am the mentor.
You're the mentor coach. So now you're the mentor coach. The rest of us here will be your coaches who are in your class, and then Celeste is the client. So you did the first round already, getting all of us to do the first specifics. Now you want to go to the next part, which is measurables, and then to the next part. Okay, so you're now the mentor coach.
Okay, so everyone is going to work on the measurement. How do we actually coach Celeste on this topic, achieving this measurement? So we are going to ask questions around this word measurement, which is the outcome of what she thinks is going to be success at the end of the coaching session. So each one of us will ask a question until we actually can nail down this this part of measurement.
Okay, so I just want to clarify: is this a measurement for the session, this sessional outcome, or the measurement of action plan?
Measurement is based on the topic that she talks about. She wants, I want to go travel. I would like to go to a place that it is like a sanctuary, like it is a second heaven. These are all Celeste words. And just now in the earlier coaching session, what Jada has done was we find out about the specific goals that she wants to achieve. And in the end, we actually find out that she's actually looking for safety. Whenever she's overwhelmed, it gives her safety. So now we want to know that how will she measure the success of this coaching at the end to know that she has found the space. Is it understood? Me?
Okay, I try lah. So Celeste, thank you for sharing that about the space that you have actually described. And at the end of the sessions, how do we know that we are successful? That you you get to the place that you want?
How do I know? It's like a feeling.
Feeling.
Yeah.
We cannot hear you. You're on mute.
Or feeling. Good. So would you like to let me understand more? What kind of feeling would you be having when you are in that space of yours?
I can't really describe the feeling, but I just know that I'm there. Yeah.
Okay, Celeste, let me rephrase it. Imagine that you are in that space now. Okay, if you can close your eyes, imagine that you're in the space now. How are you feeling now?
Like I'm in my own bowl.
And how do you feel?
I can't say how I feel, but I can say what I'm hearing.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is like I feel like I'm in this like surround system where it's like playing JJ song, then it's very calming and it's very soothing to my soul. Yeah, so I think it's this soothing feeling that it calms me. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that this space of yours would have this JJ music surrounding that you could actually sit down and feel very calm and relax.
Something like that.
Now, would this space be something that physical that you have to hop in? Are you look, or is it something that you could get yourself into anywhere you want?
Anywhere I want. It's like now you ask me to imagine, I'm already inside. Like I can feel it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I can sense that you were giving a wide smile to say, I'm already inside. Tell me how does it feel inside now?
Very soothing, very soothing. Like I think it's more like it gives me like this feeling of self-acceptance and like it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so what have you learned so far?
What have I learned?
Yeah, what have you discovered?
What have I discovered is that I don't know.
Okay. You don't mind. You mentioned that you're already in this space, and I can see your change in your state. Right? So what does that tell you?
Yeah, the thing is, right, like what I'm looking for is like a reminder, like something that can remind me. Like I already like this century is already, it exists within myself already. I know it's there, but it's just that I need something that can remind me at that moment in time. It's not that, yeah, it's I need that. Like when there's a heighten of emotion, I need that thing to remind me that, okay, yeah. I don't take over.
All right. So when would you need, or when would you want to be reminded to be in this space?
When I'm feeling very overwhelmed. Yeah, like my feelings are very heightened up.
Okay, we need to take a pause because our time is up. We are working on that 4 minutes to work on this measurement. How do you all feel in achieving when we are doing this one-by-one coaching? Do you find that we are actually moving towards a little bit clearer on how to measure the safety feel of a sanctuary?
I would say yes. In fact, I think if we were to continue, I would probably ask Celeste, when are usually the times when she feels overwhelmed, and perhaps how many times in a day or in a week that she would want to be in this space.
And
So
if you all,
yes.
yeah, sorry. And if you all can recall one of the sentence she mentioned, and that sentence actually reflect a measurement. I don't know whether you pick up that sentence. At least I feel so. During the time when Hazel actually coached Celeste, she did mention a sentence, and that sentence is
in already. Because I mean, yeah, it means she has successfully reached that space that she wanted. I'm already in. I can feel that I'm in already.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know whether can that consider as a measurement, Jedi?
Okay, so your pause ready? Now, so I gave the space a little bit more so that you guys can kind of explore. Now, there's a few roles that's happening. So I want you all to just make sure that you know your head. Joanne was the mentor coach. The rest of us were coaches. Celeste was the client, and Joanne was trying to get all of us to kind of coach around the M, right? Since we already got the S just now, we're going towards the M. So what we do here is that B and Hazel were going back again to asking questions on the specifics, and again, which we already covered, because now we're supposed to focus on the M, right? So from the mentoring perspective, so if I'm a mentor coach, I probably give them like 1 or 2 minutes to kind of do that, or maybe I can give them the whole time, 3 minutes to go and explore like this, right? Then I ask them, hey, okay, class, just now, what do you observe? Were you asking questions to help to figure out the measurements or the measures for that particular goal that Celeste wanted? Or were you asking questions outside of that? In the 3 minutes that we had, were you asking questions around the measures for the particular goal, or were you asking questions outside of that? So from the mentor coach perspective, I can come this approach. Or I can be a little bit more directive. I can say, hey, what I'm hearing just now was that we wanted to just focus on the measures, but what I'm hearing, it's not measures. What I'm hearing is you're asking a lot more questions that's outside of the measures of that particular goal. Yeah, remember the exercise was 3 minutes just to take that specifics that we just talked about in our chat box. That's how we listed down the whole thing to just elicit the measures. Okay. Now, so at this point, I can actually, as mentor coach, once I kind of corrected the team, I can kind of go in and ask them, would you guys like to have another try at it? Or would you like me to give you the example? Yeah. So as the mentor coach, I can come in like this and say, hey, would you like? So after hearing what I'm saying, do you have any questions, clarifications, or would you guys like to have a go at it to try for another 3 minutes before I come in to give you an example? Okay, so that's from the the mentoring perspective, yeah. So this is not really the coaching, but this is more for the mentoring perspective. Okay, so does this help to clarify some things for Joanne?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So good. So, would you like to try the mentoring? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, mentoring for which one?
The M again.
The M again. I have actually shared my thoughts because I thought that we have achieved that measurement when actually Celeste mentioned that she actually has found her space like right now. Really understand what you mean by it.
Okay, so Celeste has mentioned that she has found the space, right? So let's ask this question: have we found the measures for this particular goal?
I don't think so.
Not quite yet, right? So I'm going to give you guys an example of how that can happen, right? Okay, so let's just continue with this portion. I'm just showing you guys in 1 minute how to kind of narrow down to the M. So let's do a little recap. We mentioned earlier about this particular goal of what you can do, the thing to remind yourself, snap of finger, a space you can remind yourself to be in a sanctuary, especially when you feel overwhelmed, emotional, angsty, gives you a kind of safety. How would you measure the success of being able to achieve this goal? How would you measure that you're able to remind yourself, the thing to remind yourself?
If this thing that I do whenever I feel the height of emotions, when I do it, it successfully brings me this feeling of that I'm inside this space.
Okay, so when you are successful, it brings you into this space. Brings you into that space. And what will happen to that emotions that you're feeling?
Vanish into a thin air.
Okay, vanish into thin air. Vanish into thin air. Okay, so let's see if I hear you right. So what you're saying is this, that what you can do is when you have the sense of heightened emotions and you're feeling kind of overwhelmed, you want to figure out a way to remind yourself with the snap of the finger, and the way you know you've done it successfully is that it brings you into that space where the emotions vanish into thin air. Okay, good. Like that. So that's a measure. Of course, can I go more than that? I can explore a little bit more, right? So the measure of the effectiveness of that goal, how she knows that the goal was effectively executed, is that she can sense that this emotions that she feel overwhelmed vanish into thin air. So this is an example of a client who uses a lot of metaphoric expression in her conversation. So that's the next M. Now, can I explore more? I can explore more, all right? But for time, I just keep to this a very short one. Right then, after that, I can go to SMA. I can go to achievable. Is this something achievable, attainable, actionable by the client? Yeah. Then I can go to the R. Right? Is this realistic, relevant for the client's outcome? Yeah. Okay. So in the mentoring process, you will probably jump in and out to do a demonstration, or you can get the client, you can get the coaches to do and correct them and give them some ideas. Okay. Questions, anyone so far? No, no questions. Okay. So you might be wondering, what is all this about? Because today we're actually talking about group mentoring process. So that's an example of group mentoring process, right? And specifically tonight, or today, we wanted to look at competency number 12, which is on this one. Okay, so let me just go deeper into them. Okay, so specifically, we're looking at this part here on competency number 12, which is how do we offer feedback that is relevant to each specific coaching core competency, recognizing the strengths as well as the potential growth areas. So what I've just done earlier is to give us a kind of a practice chance to see how we can dissect one competency and maybe specifically one technique of the competency, which is the smarter goal, to provide that feedback in relation to the competencies, right? And keeping to the competency so that the coaches don't get distracted with so many different competencies. Right? We're just keeping at it. Now, one of the quick ways to kind of recall this is in this 3-step framework, what they call the EOS framework: the evidence, strengths, and opportunities. In this sequence, what were the evidence of the competencies that I'm hearing? What were the strengths that the coach demonstrate based on the competency? What were the opportunities for that coach? Okay, so I give you an example. So based on what we heard just now, I'm going to give you in these 3 steps. Let's use the from B. Okay, so suppose B, I'm giving B the feedback on competency number 8, what she has just done with the smarter goal. Okay, so B, just now the evidence was what the evidence were, you were asking Celeste a series of questions around that around the topic, asking her what the outcome she really wants out of this, and you're trying to drill deeper into the outcome, right? So the evidence there. However, this evidence of what you were asking did not relate very much to the competency number 8, which is on facilitating clients' growth. Specifically, we wanted to look at the goal setting, which is the smarter goal, right? But that is your strength. How is that your strength? Is because you were trying to drill in deeper, trying to help the client get clarity, So you were laser focused in the one area to dive in deeper. So in terms of your competency demonstration strength, that demonstrates your ability to ask deeper questions, to probe in deeper, right? That probing in deeper in relation to your core competency, that is in relation to competency number 7, which is evoking awareness, where you actually begin to chunk down. Right, so that's a good thing to do because you will use the same chunking down, chunking up in competency number 8, which is on the designing of goal actions. Okay, so that's your strength. You can port it over. Now, here are some opportunities for your consideration. Okay, you can choose after you hear me say it. I'm going to give you 3 different opportunities here that I'm hearing from your conversation. Number 1, it's you could reframe the session, or to get clarity around the session where the client wants to go, so that before you dive in too quickly, too deeply, too fast, you want to take a step back and try to re-clarify that, so that you don't go down the rabbit hole too quickly. That's one opportunity. The second opportunity is then to tie back to where you are at the stage of the conversation. Because what I'm hearing so far is that whenever the conversation goes, it just drifts you to different parts. So what you want to be mindful of is understanding where you are in the process of the coaching conversation, and then linking that questioning and the line of questioning to where you are at the juncture. So in this case, you're at the juncture of keeping to the SMART goal, or the specific goal, or the measurable goal. Okay, you want to keep to that process. Okay. The third opportunity for you to consider is probably what I encourage you to do, because I noticed as you were coaching just now, you were trying to recall offhand. It's to take a notepad, or maybe on your computer to type down. So for a start, to kind of practice that, so you can kind of see what the clients are saying in terms of this design of actions. Especially for design actions, it might help if you, when you practice, you just list it down step by step, so you can see clearly, oh, okay, smart, specific has been done, measurable is clear enough, then achievable is clear enough, right before going on. So these are 3 opportunities that I'm seeing from today's session. What are your thoughts on these 3 opportunities here?
That's for me, right? Yes, I would say that just now I do find myself in my thinking mode. So that affects my listening also. Okay, and I think I am more focused of getting my job done more than I am. I mean, I try to find suitable questions now. Not what measurement is about. So I would say that I distracted myself. Yeah.
Okay, and when you think about these 3 opportunities that I shared with you, are there any one of these 3 that really resonate with you that you would like to apply in your subsequent coaching sessions?
Yes, I think the one that you say probably use a notepad. Okay, actually when I first started, I never write anything one. Slowly, I think that it's a way to do it. So I think, but I did not actually have it on consistent, not consistently doing it. So probably I may have to develop this as a consistent way of doing it, just to help me in the session.
Okay.
And going too fast and too I think that's me lah. I mean, that's part of me which it's about patience lah. So I probably have to be more mindful about my patience. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing, B. Okay, so what I've just done here, I've given you guys an example of how you can show evidence, then the strengths of the coach, then opportunities. And opportunities, I'm not telling B that, okay, you must do this 3. But these are the 3 that I'm hearing from my perspective, right? And then I offer it to you, and then as the coach, you can decide whether you want to take up any of these 3. So in the ICF mentor coaching feedback process, it's really much about sharing opportunities rather than okay, B, I think you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, right? But rather I said, okay, from what I'm hearing, I think this 3 will be quite relevant to your learning style, right? And what are your thoughts on it? How would you want to use this forward in your coaching session? So offering that to the client, you may have 1 or 2 opportunities, and I like to call it opportunities rather than missed opportunities, or maybe or another word that people like use 2 or 3 ways. So I call it opportunities just to frame the mind, just to. In fact, ICF mentor coaches, those mentor coaches who are taught by ICF are also taught the same thing, right? Or using the word opportunities as rather than saying, okay, I may give you some feedback to improve, right? These are 3 areas of improvement. So right, so there was one discussion of some mentors were saying, should we use 3 areas of improvement? Because improvement sounds like I did a bad job, then I must work on these 3, right? So they say, okay, actually using the word opportunities might give the coach space for them to consider which one they want to apply first, and then subsequently. So rather than using 3 improvements, we will use 3 opportunities, or 2 opportunities, or 1 opportunities, depending on what you're sensing from that conversation. Yeah. Okay, so this ESO, right? So evidence, what were the evidence I heard based on the conversation? What were the strengths, and what were the opportunities? Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, so we're gonna get someone here, and then I'm gonna get Joanne to give you feedback as the mentor coach in this 3 sequence: evidence, strengths, opportunity. So Joanne, would you want to still stick to competency number 8 in the Smarter Go one, or you want to try something else for the competency?
Yeah, I'm okay with the SMART.
Okay, so let's stick with the SMART. Now we go to the A. Okay, so we don't spend too much time on S and M. Okay, so who want to be the coach? Haider lah. Okay, so Haider, and then Celeste the same topic. Now we go to A. Okay, so easier lah. It's easier. So we have done S and M. Now we go to A. Okay, so what we'll do is this. Haider will coach Celeste in terms of getting an A. If he can, he go to R, A and R. And then Joanne is going to give him feedback on that particular competency: evidence, strengths, and opportunities. Okay, so same process, 3 minutes. Don't need too long. Just assuming all the things done, assuming that's not what we discussed, is continuing, then we'll continue from there. Okay, so let's try this. And then, okay, so once after Haider finish, then Joanne can step in to provide him the feedback. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so continuing from our conversation about finding that space, how can you make this something that is achievable for you?
I don't know how to make it achievable. Like I think I need to find like that I need to find something to remind me, but I don't know what is that thing that can remind me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to find something that can remind you to go into this space. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like an anchor.
Okay. And what is a doable anchor for you to have? What could it possibly be?
Maybe like I don't like put like JJ face in front of me.
Okay. In what form? Like a lifelike.
Yeah, I think I need a lifelike like because I have figurines of him, but I mean like it's like this kind, it doesn't work on me lah. Like this kind small thing. It needs to be like very big kind. Especially like when my emotions is very heightened, I need a very big thing to like, it must pop up in front of me so that it can remind me. Yeah.
Okay. So something lifelike, something big, something that can pop up in front of you.
Yeah.
So how can you get that? How can you start to go about getting something like that?
Yeah, I think I need to kidnap. Okay, no lah. I think I need to just maybe like print out a photo on like maybe a cardboard. I mean like the hard paper, so that it's not flimsy, but it's still big. Yeah, then maybe I can make it like a pop-up
like a cutout.
Yeah, cutout, correct.
Okay. You can print out a cardboard cutout of JJ, and that would serve as the reminder for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think it can.
Okay, all right. Any other ways that is currently achievable for you to get the same reminder besides the cutout?
That's a good question. Maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah.
If is it okay if I suggest something?
Yeah, definitely.
What if it's something like in your current environment, like maybe your laptop or your desk, something that you visit regularly that will be achievable or attainable for you?
No, I think my laptop will be a very bad anchor.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because like imagine if I'm having like a meeting and then my emotions are heightened and I look at it and I'll be like, my emotions are even heightened.
Okay. All right. So that's a good distinction. All right. So currently we have one, which is your print out a photo cardboard cutout of JJ. Okay. All right. So yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, Haider, how do you feel about coaching in regards to achieving this achievable, actionable goals of Celeste?
So I felt that I did manage to get some exploration on what was achievable for her. I felt that I could have done a little bit more if I had more time, in a sense, like, okay, where would she start to go about to print this cutout? Is there a printer she might be looking at, something accessible, something she already has on her phone, a contact maybe, to go and get that cutout done. Yeah.
Do you see yourself having some opportunity there to actually go deeper into this actionable plan that you have in mind?
Yeah. Probably what I would do is, when it comes to achievable, to help her perhaps break it or chunk it down to smaller steps. So that, okay, maybe the first thing is to look for a suitable picture of JJ. Then maybe the second is to Photoshop all the edges out. And maybe the third one is send it to an appropriate printer and, work out a plan that is achievable. Yeah.
Because when I'm hearing you coaching, I actually can see that you are very strong in powerful questioning. You actually ask a question like, what is a doable anchor action, that you actually can maintain this this so-called space that she feel whenever she sees JJ, she just feel calm.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just feel that the question was powerful, and also you mentioned some of the key words that pop up, when she talked about JJ is like that live light. So when you reflect back, you actually talk about big pop up, and then so on, some of these keywords, and it's like it was very quick to pick up by her, and then she actually explore further in this what can be done, what I can do. And that is where she was thinking about, cardboard and so on. The only thing I'm not very sure, I just pause for a while, Jada, because the last sentence I noticed that Haider actually mentioned that can you maybe do it like laptop, that kind of thing. So that is like a suggestible stuff, which I think is not very appropriate for coaching. So you either call that leading, or if I'm not wrong, it's not permissible, right? Not advisable.
Okay, so that's a good question. Is it okay for us as coaches to offer some ideas after the client is kind of explored? A simple answer is yes, you can. Why? So I always will go back to our core competency and see where the evidence for it. Okay, so let's take a look here at the at the ICF rating list. Okay, so let's go to, okay, they have not updated yet, but this is basically at least the latest. So notice here, at the ACC level, the coach tends to suggest homework and action that they think would best handle the problem. So it's okay to suggest some actions that they feel or they think that is that will best handle the problem. Now, as long as the coach doesn't insist that this is the way you should do it. So notice here, there's this part here, applicant will not receive passing score if coach insists that the client do what the coach has prescribed. You can suggest, but you're not insisting that this is the only way, right? And homework does not have a clear purpose and potential move client. So for example, if let's say Haido says, hey Celeste, maybe you should just go and watch movie, maybe you just go to the beach and just just go and do a run or jog, go and swim in the ocean. Now that, of course, that one has no purpose, doesn't link to that. But if the actions does help the client to achieve the goal, it's okay to suggest, right? So Maya suggests some potential options, and the client says yes, you can offer. Now, so this is where it makes a distinction between ACC level and PCC level. So notice here it says that the coach engages in some, but not a complete partnership with the client. Again, actions are tuned to solving the situational issues the client has presented rather than looking beyond the situation and broader, right? And PCC level coach tends to define forward motion only in terms of physical action, what the person is doing, what the person is doing. So here, let's say I'm if I want to give opportunity for Haido, so I will say, hey, Haido, here are maybe 2 opportunities for you to consider, right? To really take your coaching to the next level. What you demonstrated there, this one was great. You give options, which was good. So that's the evidence, right? You give her options and actions that were related to her outcome. So the evidence was good. Okay, so those were aligned. However, one opportunity that can really enhance is you could offer her before you could ask her for permission to suggest some potential options first, right? So you can go something like this. Hey, Mr. Klein, hearing all you share, I'm kind of sensing a few other potential ways that could help you. Would it be okay for me to share with you for your consideration? Now, the client says yes, and I offer that. So that's one opportunity, right? Especially when you sense, because sometimes you may have ideas, which is great. Now, if you do that, now you'll be you will feel the PCC level. Now, if you don't answer that, if you don't ask the permission, and you just offer straight away, then you probably be at the ACC level. Now, what would take it even further is that so far what we heard in terms of the actions that you were kind of working with the client were very much of what you can do physically, what you can work on physically. Now, there can be other actions as well. You can work internally as well, right? So a few opportunities you can try. It's you can ask the questions like this. Say, hey, Mr. Klein, what I've heard you say is what you can do on the outside. And what could you do on the inside? What would you like to do in terms of engaging your inner world or engaging your emotions in this situation, right? So it gives you opportunities to consider not just the physical world, but the internal world, the emotional world, something deeper to connect that. Okay, so now these are 3 opportunities for you. What are your thoughts on this? So I can do something like this, yeah. So therefore, one of the great things inside in the mentor coaching process is that we have our own Telegram chat for any of our mentor coach to just ask questions, because sometimes we may want some ideas and clarification. So if it's an area that if I'm familiar with, I'll just answer you straight away. If it's a question that's a good question that I've not probably explored, I will clarify via ICF to get some clarity around it. Yeah, so so that is the approach within the ACC, PCC, MCC. Okay, is this making sense, or is this too many things?
No, it makes sense. It's just that when I was just suspecting that this may need to ask permission. So but I was very quick to just feedback to you that this don't sounds appropriate. And then I forgot to highlight to you that is there a need to ask permission, at this point. Yeah, so just now you have already clarified.
Okay, so that's good. Now, so as the mentor coach, sometimes if you hear something like this, right? Okay, let's say the client needs something really, really terrible. Okay. Oh, Celeste, you know what? You should stop thinking like that. That's a very terrible way of thinking. Like, let's say I'm the coach like this, okay, and I say to Celeste, "Oh, that's a very terrible way of thinking. You need to, if you really want to be like JJ, you need to be like him. Like see what he does, drink some coffee. Go and buy Miracle Coffee and just fly with him like this. Don't get stuck in your house. Yeah. Now I'm the coach. I did like that, right? It's completely off. Completely off. Now as the mentor, if I'm mentoring someone like this, I can tell him off. I say, hey, no, actually what you did was very terrible. Okay, so now as a mentor, I can come like that. Or I can say, hey, Mr. Mentor, now I switch perceptual position. Mentor, now if you were in Celeste's shoe, as if you were Celeste's shoe, how would you have felt if you heard these very words said to you? Okay, so get the so especially when it deals with a little bit more sensitive topics, when maybe the coach was just too directive, or maybe the coach was too insensitive, then you get the coach to be in the shoes of the client. Yeah, how would she feel? Yeah. So that is when we deal with, like, let's say, diversity and inclusion and culture. We get them to kind of like switch position to kind of feel what they feel. Yeah.
What happened is the other way around and backfire. It's like we feel that it shouldn't be said that way. So when we ask this question, if you are the coach, if you are Celeste, how would you feel? And if she says that, oh, that's perfectly all right, I don't see any problem.
Okay, so Mr. Klein, so let's take a look at the core competency, and let's try to see whether, basing on the ICF core competency, what can we gather from there. Yeah. So I'll always refer them to a principle. There must be a principle from which we follow, right? So I'll look at the coaching mindset. Right, remember the coaching mindset. That's where we always talk about the sense of the culture of the client and everything, right? Honoring culture. Then also there's the ethics and professional standards. Is my response to the client upholding the ethics and professionalism as a coach? It's what I'm doing with the client, upholding the sense of embodying a coaching mindset to honor the client's culture, the world, and the diversity of the client. Yeah. If the coach insists, yeah, coach, of course, I'm the best coach ever. Look, I got a badge here. Right? Yeah, I got a badge here that says I'm a great coach. Yeah. So yeah, you cannot tell me anything. Who are you to tell me? Okay. So then, of course, if such a coach really happened, then you can tell the client, you say, hey, coach, respectfully, I disagree with you in that point. You're entitled to your own opinion. But I would tell you, from my understanding of the ICF Code of Ethics, values, and also embodying mindset, this is what it says. You can disagree with me, that's okay, but this is what I stand for, and this is what I believe in, right? And should you need more further clarification, I welcome you to write in to support at ICF coachingfederation.org and seek their advice as well. That's it. So sometimes if people are too niam, then I just ask them to so because actually it's not it's just some of them actually is just being very emotional, and then they believe they are correct. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good because you push back to the ICF evidence, which is professional, because that is the whole idea, right, of mentoring. I mean, just want to make sure that you're aligned with ICF competency and requirement.
Correct. So if anything, I always kind of like fall back on that. Therefore, one of the things that we do for our mentor coaches, right, it's always getting them more acquainted with the core competency. It will take time. It doesn't mean that overnight we all fully understand the core competency. Sometimes along the way we may forget. So that's why there's this like revisiting about the core competency, to go in deeper, to ask questions, to probe in, and to explore even more facets of it. Yeah. Okay, good. Any questions, anyone? Okay. So in terms of structure, the easy way to give feedback, right? I always use the ESO, right? Of course, after a while you get a hang of it, you can move along the way, right? But always evidence based on the what I heard, what was said, and then after that, the strengths of the coach, where they demonstrated good strengths, and of course opportunities where they are. Like, okay, so let's say I want to give Hazel her strength. I say, okay, Hazel, one of your strengths that I hear you as you were coaching Celeste just now was that you're very clear in your words. The words came across very, very clearly, very. But may I offer you 3 opportunities? Okay, one, it's the opportunity for the body language, because as you were sharing your thoughts, your facial expression looked very intense, not the smiley Hazel, but very intense, and then like, wow, it's very, very strong, very big. Nothing wrong with that, but I kind of feel that as you were doing that, I can feel Celeste shrinking backwards because you were coming like that, so but very, very confident. But that's your strength. It's confidence, strength. But you just got to be mindful of that. So if let's say I want to see something like that, I can do like that. Yeah. So that's an example of how we can give an opportunity. Yeah. So the mentor coach, you can do all these things. Now to what degree of to what extent of mentoring can you cover? Should you cover about their personality or whatever, that's your call, right? But essentially for mentor coaching, usually I try to focus around the core competency that helps the coach to do what they need to do. Yeah. Okay, good. Do you, so you need more practice? Anyone wants? Okay, so let's try this. Okay, now who wants to have a go at this? The ESO. What's ESO? ESO. ESO is this one. Okay. Evidence, strengths, and opportunities. So, okay. So, I know. So let's have Heidel mentoring, and then Joanne will observe, and then Joanne will tell us when Heidel was mentoring, where was he in terms of evidence, where was he in strengths and opportunities. So later on, Joanne, this is what you're going to do. You're going to provide feedback to Heidel of his mentoring based on evidence, strengths, and opportunities. Okay, then so that's the same topic. Okay, so
Finish the smart lah. Finish the smart.
you left with which one? T, right?
R and T.
R and T. Okay, so R and T left. Okay, so Hazel or B, would you like to be the coach for Celeste?
I did Hazel, why don't you go first?
The R lah, Hazel do the R.
I had my chance.
Okay, so Hazel would do the R and T can do together one, relevance and time bound, right? When she wants to execute this goal, right? And then the relevance to her desired outcome. Okay, so the connection towards a desired outcome. How does this goal lead to her to a desired outcome, and then also time bound. Okay, so Hazel have 3 minutes plus 1 minute with Celeste. After that, I will come in to mentor Hazel in evidence, strengths, and opportunities. And then after that, we will hear Joanne's observation. Okay, here we go.
So I just start, is it?
Yes. So Hazel, you will be coaching Celeste on the last 2 letters, relevant and time bound, in the SMART framework. And then after that, I'll give you some feedback on your coaching. All right, go ahead.
So Celeste, we have come to you have actually jot down to say that, basically you would use maybe a life-size photo of JJ, right? Would it be relevant? How, wait, I cannot use the word relevant. When do you think you can actually get that done? Would you like it to be done?
Actually, it doesn't have to be life size. I just need it to be big. Yeah. So I can just print from my own printer because I got a very big printer in my house, and I got a card also. Yeah. So I can do it anytime.
And where would you put it?
In front of me, just at my board there.
And when would you start doing that? When would you want to start doing that?
Maybe tonight. Yeah, maybe tonight.
Okay. What do you need in order to get that done? You got the card, right? That you mentioned. Anything else?
Need to find like a nice photo. Yeah, like it must be friendly, sunshine boy, not the concert kind, but it's the very nice kind. Yeah.
Okay.
阳光少女.
Huh?
Sunshine. Must have the sunshine feel so that it can remind me of like good things.
So have you seen any of those pictures or photos of that he gives you that sunshine feel?
Oh, yeah, I have, but I think I must find like a very impactful one.
So is that something you can do once we finish this particular session?
It is, but I think I will take some time to do it because I want to find the right one.
Okay, so when you say you will find some time to do it, as in you would find the right one, but when you're going to start searching for it?
Tonight.
Ah, that's good. Okay,
Mm.
so you have just mentioned that tonight you will be actually start looking for the right pictures that give you that sunshine JJ. They'll give you the smile whenever you look at it.
Yeah, then must have the dimple.
Okay, that's good. And would that actually bring you to your space, your sanctuary space that you would require whenever you look at him?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's good. So okay. So where are we now from the objective that we want with this session?
I think we have gotten what we wanted.
Are you happy?
Yeah, yeah. If we are going to pause, I can share something.
Okay, we pause. The next, you're going to bring her life-size JJ in.
No, you know why? Because during the session, then after that, I thought of like maybe what I can do is that I can make like a JJ toy. So like because I like to collect a lot of toys, so like it's pop up, it's big, I can hug it, and then it reminds me. So I'm like, yeah, why I didn't think about it. Yeah, so this is what like I'm going to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Haida, we stop already. Now she
Yeah.
tell me the other side of the story.
All right, thank you. Okay, well done, Hazel. All right. So allow me to share some of my feedback or some of my observations on your coaching of Celeste. Okay. There are a few things that I wanted to highlight to you and also to Celeste and the rest of you in the group as well. All right. We noticed that you shared a lot of light-hearted moments with Celeste. Well, she was talking about the sunshine feel. There were certain moments where it resonated a lot with her. And that also demonstrates the kind of rapport that you already have established with your client. I like that you keep reflecting back to her as she was figuring out her plan. You keep reflecting back to her in her language, and this demonstrated that you are very active in listening in the process of exploration. And if you notice, by the end, Celeste was opening up, right? And you shared a lot of moments of laughter with her. So I felt that was really, really very nice. So some strengths I wanted to highlight to you was, number one, you're very meticulous in the actioning process. Okay, in figuring out the action plan and possibly some things which Celeste may have missed, and you had the questioning to highlight those gaps. And the second strength that I wanted to highlight to you is you are very strong at building that rapport with your client. Even though you were taking over from the R&T, even though the rest of us have done the SMA, you created that space of safety for her, which allowed her to open up and talk about the relevance and also the time bound. So I thought that was really, really well done, and some strengths that you should applaud in yourself. Okay. One opportunity that I wanted to share with you is one thing you can try is, I noticed at the start, in asking for what is relevant according to the framework, you sort of pulled back and you had this thing where you wanted to avoid using the word relevant. So I'm not sure what was happening for you there. But I felt that one opportunity you could try is just use the word relevant, because if you were to use the framework, just use the word relevant and see how Celeste responds to that word. And if, let's say, her response is not, maybe it doesn't make sense to her, then maybe from there you can figure out a different word or go with the flow for her and find out what works for her in establishing that relevance even though the word relevant, we don't know whether it may work for her because we've not tried it out with her yet. Okay.
Okay. With regard to this, I hear you. I understand. But my pause was more like, am I clear of what I want, how to relate relevant into my questioning and not use the word, more of the meaning. Is it my meaning or is it her meaning? That was something that I need clarity on and how to phrase it. I think that was it. But yeah, I could have used relevant to phrase it so that directly, as such, I may get better clarity and faster. Thanks for your feedback.
Right. Okay, just one more question for you, Hazel. Moving forward, how can you take it to the next level?
What was lacking in this was that to get into that mindset of the coaching, I need to switch faster because I was not mentally ready. And that plays the hesitation that was in the front. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Hazel, for sharing. All right. Let's give her a
Thank
round of
you.
applause. Okay.
Thank you,
On to
Haider,
Joanne.
for mentoring. Thank you, Haider, for mentoring. Thank you, Hazel, for being the coach. So there are many layers. I thought Haider actually has done very well in your mentoring. I don't know, how do you feel about the feedback that you gave to Hazel?
Okay, so I think I was able to highlight evidence and strengths. Opportunities, I managed to identify one, which I felt was an opportunity for her. Maybe I would have, I don't know, I couldn't think of other opportunities, but that was the one that stood out to me when she coached. Because I honestly, I felt that she did a good job. So maybe that's where I felt that, okay, what other opportunity? I don't want to create an opportunity for the sake of doing so, because it might be very fake, right? So I wanted to allow her that the recommendation that I felt was best, that suited her also.
Yeah, because I feel that when you're sharing with her the feedback, there were a lot of strength in you, you're sharing the observation. But I was just thinking that before you actually share feedback, maybe you may want to check in with her how she feel about the coaching, in regards of achieving, the rest of our two goals, which is the relevance, the timeline. We wanted to finish the whole SMART goals. Yeah, we may want to check in with the client, how she feel coaching, on the whole arena of achieving that, and also where she see her strength. And then when you actually add on, that may further empower her. That was just, I just find that maybe more, may be able to help to anchor her strength better, because she's asked by asking her where she see her strength, what she has done right in empowering the client, and then we share with her the observation through evidence, and also to amplify the strength that will help to anchor the client. And you can also explore with the client, what other opportunity during the coaching you see you can expand the depth of the coaching, and also hear from the client what she has missed. There you share the opportunity gap. Yeah. Did I?
Okay, so actually I was waiting for Joanne to put that as an opportunity. So you could phrase that's not the one that you mentioned to Haider as, hey, Haider, that was a great job. Perhaps here are one or two opportunities for you to consider. Yeah, and then
Okay.
yeah, so actually we're doing like I don't know, Doctor Strange multi-layer feedback system, 3-level mentoring. Yeah. So now so to Haider, let's go in sequence into Haider's. Just now he was thinking, okay, I only can think of one opportunity. I think that's enough, right? You don't have to share many opportunities. One is good enough. Yeah. And so if there's only one, say, hey, Hazel, I've just one opportunity that I might be useful for you to consider, and this is what I observed. This is my thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on that? That's it. So it can just be one. It doesn't have to be two or three. Why? Because we are only doing one small segment here, right?
Yeah.
So in reality, you have a 30-minute, 45 minutes, 1 hour coaching session, you definitely have a lot more. Now, when it becomes 30 minutes, 45 minutes, well, then you'll see a lot of areas for feedback. Then which area should we focus in on? So usually, I what I like to do, you are flexible to choose whichever style. It's I always ask the client, before I start, ask them, okay, which areas in the coaching conversation you feel that that's your greatest challenge in, right? So they probably know where they are good. I want them to recognize where they feel that there's is the challenge in. So they might say, oh, I think maybe it's a coaching agreement, okay, or maybe it's this, maybe it's that. So whenever they say maybe, I said, okay, so tell me a little bit more. Why do you say maybe it's this? How do you know that your coaching agreement was very bad? Okay, so from the transcript, let's take a look at your transcript. How do we know? How would you know that you had a very bad coaching agreement? How would you know you had a very bad design actions? Yeah, so I get them to become more aware of their own evidence. So feeling is okay, but I want them to kind of get evidence. Like I think yesterday, in the Hong Kong group, Chris thought that he had done his coaching agreement well, in his mind, right? So then I after that point, when I say, oh, okay, there's something here, something here, something here, so then I ask him, okay, so what are your thoughts on this, right? So sometimes the client may feel that, okay, I've my strength is in the coaching agreement, but then at the end, realizing that, oh, it's still very far away. Yeah, so I need to tailor my expectation as well, because if I'm mentoring the ACC level, I'll tell them I'm taking on the ACC level head, right? So I will tell you at this level, and I'll give you areas. So when I tell you that these are areas of opportunities, means that these are above and beyond what is required for ACC. That so so that I'm clear my distinction, so that I don't confuse the person. Oh, you mean I should do so much more things? Yeah. Yeah, so these are some like more financing. So usually I start with first where are areas of challenge, then after that get them to explore. So which means that as I'm giving them the feedback, as I go through the transcript or go through the recordings, there may be one or two competency that they may stand out, right? So then the question I ask myself is this, right? Which is one or two competency that's standing out as a potential area for improvement for this coach? Okay, then what about this competency that the coach is really struggling with? Is it more of a listening thing? Is it more of a something else? And then I listen. Then after I probably craft maybe 2 or 3 opportunities based around all that, and then offer that to the coach to consider. Yeah. So Bob, I will not offer too many feedback. For a few reasons. Even if I give them 10 feedback, 20 feedback, they're not going to implement anything. Yeah. So 3, 4, is good enough. No, 2, 3 will.
Mm. Okay. I just have
Guys,
one last.
sorry guys, I just need to make a move first. Jedi, thank
Okay.
you very much. Yep,
Thanks,
gotta make a
Haider.
call.
I
Yes,
just have one last question to ask you, because our time is almost up. You see, in a mental coaching session, right? Especially today we are on the group topic. What happens if you have somebody with very strong personality, and they disagree with you, which we have to respect that. But when we actually bring the evidence of the competency from ICF to highlight to them, to justify, or rather to explain, this is where I'm coming from. And if they interpret the competency that is differently, how do you actually bridge the gap?
okay. So there will be cases like this. Like, hey, I read it differently. You coach, you don't know anything. I know so much more. I've got PhD, whatever. I got multiple. I don't know anything. So some coaches can be like that, and that's fine. So I say, okay, I respect your interpretation of it, and you can take my thoughts. So I want you to just take my thoughts as opportunities for you to consider, right? And you decide for yourself what works best for you. Yeah. Then you, based on the decision, based on the competencies, if you feel that this is how you interpret, then go ahead with what you have decided, and then go and submit your application. That's it. That's you can submit application, right? Because rather than argue with them, like the semantics of things, I said, okay, so I fully agree with you. This is that's one way of considering it, but this is my thoughts having gone through the coaching process, you're free to interpret it in the way that you see fit. And as the mentor coach, I'm not here to tell you to do this or to do that. I'm reflecting to you. These are the opportunities for you to decide to improve or enhance your coaching sessions. But it's up to you to decide how would you like to take this forward. Okay, and subsequently, should you choose to go with your choice of interpretation, you can take that and then submit your application to IECF. Yeah.
Okay.
There are some a little bit more subjective competencies, which are not so clear. So sometimes, like the assessors, one assessor might fail a person, another assessor might pass a person, because the contextual evidence, sometimes you're not in the moment. The assessors cannot see, don't have the video. So that's only hearing the audio, right? I may not have sufficient evidence. So usually what happens is this. I tell coaches, I say this not because there's double standards in the assessors, but rather that the evidence is not obvious and clear enough, or not sufficiently. That means you may just demonstrate one time, but not enough. That is clear enough for no ambiguity. Like example, yesterday, when Chris transcription had, he only had one small part on the accountability, very, very, very tiny, right? So if I am the assessor, I might think that he never do accountability well, because it's almost like a passing remark, right? So yes, maybe ACC level I might pass him because based on the markers he did touch a bit. But if I'm a little bit stricter and say, okay, it's not sufficiently clear, because I cannot see the video, I cannot see the client's response from it. All I can hear is the sound, I can read, but I cannot really see. So, and because it's only one point, I don't have sufficient evidence for me. So I always tell the coaches, I say, hey, if two mentors have two different interpretations, doesn't mean they are wrong. It just means that there's a lack of sufficient evidence enough for them to come to common agreement and say, hey, okay, right, there's sufficient evidence. Yeah. Now again, the coach can decide to go to another mentor for a second opinion, very much like doctors as well. But we always tell them, okay, at the end of the day, this is what we interpret the competency as, and you have to make the final choice whether you want to submit this for your application or not.
Yeah. It has also got to do with the difference of culture and tone as well.
Yes.
In the recording. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, your culture and tone, and also I do not know who the assessor might be. They may be from the Western country, so their interpretation can be they can be more directive. Yeah, more directive. Or sometimes their language is very strange one, like push me back, or what did they like to say? Yeah, feel free to push me back, or push back your thoughts. And it's so weird in the Asian culture. It's like nobody says that here. Nobody says that. Yeah, and the poor client have no idea what you're asking in terms of that. Yeah, so that's something for us to consider.
Yeah, some of these English phrases, sometimes I also feel that I think locally, I mean, maybe in our region, we don't really use it. So let's say if you say, may I share an observation? And then if anything that it doesn't, it's not in the way that you have shared now, push back. I also find it very, I don't know.
I agree. Because last time when I was doing training in cosmetics, the Americans, the head office come out with, we have to ask the client what is their go-to shade. I said, this sentence will never work in Asian. I got to ask the Asian, what is your go-to shade? What is your preferred color in lipstick? It makes more understood than, Celeste, what is your go-to shade? Go where?
Yeah.
So I think it's okay that we actually use the language is more acceptable in our
in our culture, correct.
So maybe we don't want to like input have you have the right wrong to go to the right wrong zone. So maybe sometimes I always like there are words I choose to say that, okay, I would like to share observation if you mind. Okay, yes, okay. So I say may I know is this accurate or something like that? I sometimes say is this right or is there anything wrong with it?
Right. So that's why I said that, like, for example, for some of these phrases, right, you can try to craft a few ways of asking that. Like sometimes I may say in the Singlish way, right? I say, hey, this I like, is it okay if I share with some of my observation? Then blah blah blah. I'm not sure if this makes any sense. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah, so I may say something like more Singlish. I'm not sure if it makes any sense. But what are your thoughts on that? Or feel free to let me know your thoughts. Or I'm not too sure if this makes any sense. I'm not too sure whether this is accurate. I'm not too sure whether this sounds right or this feels right for you. Right, let me know. Right. So that I might do a few times in the coaching recording just for the assessment because I can share 2-3 times my intuition observation each time. It just change a little bit as well. Yeah. So if the assessors is properly trained, they can pick up all these things. But of course, if the assessors is like 6:30 one, then they just they will follow that thing.
Another thing is that yesterday when Chris do his submission, right? He actually paid 200 plus, which is less than 250 for the membership, but he paid 300 for the ACC fee, right? Which is 500. But if he just doesn't go for the membership and just go for ACC, it's 350 only. What?
$500.
$500 now. Oh my god. So, but he's paying more than $500 or 300 plus two something.
Yeah. So up to you lah. Okay, if you sign up for ICM membership, your name, you have a portal name there and everything.
Okay, just to get yourself into that.
I give an example. One classic example is Banco. Banco's name is not inside the. He's not ICM. I think he never renew or whatever lah. Right. You cannot even find his name there, but he's still an MCC. He's still an MCC. Right. It's just that you can be you may not renew your ICM membership, but that doesn't mean your credentials is not valid.
They will not remove. I mean, if your membership expires.
Yeah, the membership gives you the listing like they put you in the listing, the find a coach listing and everything. Yeah, and then also there's the ICF portal have their own CCEU credits. So you can join their learnings, health management and whatever. A lot of things that you can actually go and download. I'm not sure, have you explored before?
So far, I tried last year when I went for my ACC, I also joined as a member. So I think I joined maybe probably in July. So it was like a few months. So I think for the first 2 months, I do go into see what is happening. Then after October, I was really busy really. So actually, I was very inactive now.
By Hazel, yeah. No worries. Actually, you can take your time to go and explore. There are actually a lot of things inside the membership site, and I think compared to the other let's say if you're a certified therapist, renewal or consultant is more expensive than the ICF membership fee. Yeah.
Jayden, can I just ask one question before we go? I also need to go.
Yes.
Is for mentor to be a mentor coach, right? Do you need to have a PCC for 3 years? Then you actually can mentor coach somebody, and the person can actually use your name to submit for her PCC or his PCC.
No. So let's say PCC, right? You want to coach you want to mentor another PCC, right? PCC, you don't need 3 years. Yeah. So let's say, but the day you got your PCC, that's the day you can start mentoring.
Okay, so if let's say the person is going for her PCC credential, she can use my name as a mentor coach if I mentor coach her.
Can. But minimum 3 months. So your start date, end date must be 3 months still. For that person. Yeah. Then the start date must be the date when after you got your PCC.
Okay. That means if let's say I got it on 1st of June, I coach on 2nd of June, and then I need to coach for 3 months for her. Then after that, then she can submit.
Yeah. So 3rd of August, is it? Yeah, 3rd of August. Then she
Okay. I understand.
I go by the rules 3 months plus 1 day 3 months plus 1 day, so it's safer.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I see you guys.
Thank you, everyone.